everyone, my name is Sarah and I'm giving my persuasive speech, and these are my audience members.
Hi, I'm Donnie.
Hey, I'm Willie.
Randall.
I'm Danny.
Growing up, I thought everyone had new books in their classroom. Growing up, I thought everyone had a performing arts center and 3 gymnasiums. Growing up, I thought everyone went to Washington, D.C. for their 8th grade trip. And growing up, I thought everyone had the same educational opportunity that I had. But little did I know that I went to a rich school, and 20 minutes down the road from me was a poor school. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't rich by any means, but I had a lot more than I realized. And somehow in history, an educational gap has been created in the public school system that creates a gap between rich kids and poor kids. But how is that fair? The United States educational system should provide equal funding for school districts in order to create a safe and comfortable learning environment for all students. So let's just establish some basics. In fall 2015, more than 50 million children in the US attended a public or primary school. So to make that a little more personal for you guys, if you guys graduated in 2015 or earlier, then you are counted in this census. So congratulations, you made it into my speech. So let's talk about what a poor school is and what a rich school is. Well, it really just depends on where you live. The National Center for Educational Statistics reports that the average per student cost in public schools was $12,605 for the 2015 to 2016 academic year. But in Utah, they spent around $6,555 per pupil, while New York spent $19,818 according to a report by the U.S. Census Bureau. And this number can vary upon school district. But how is that truly fair? And where does this funding come from? Well, according to PBS.org, this funding comes from 3 different places. It comes from sales tax, income tax, and property tax. So I know those are words that we hear a lot, we hear it in the news, it's kind of thrown around everywhere, but what is sales tax, what is income tax, and what is property tax? Well, sales tax is basically the tax that you get when you buy something. So if you buy a shirt that's $20 and your total comes to $21.06, etc., then that is sales tax. Income tax is the tax that you get on your income. So if you get $7.50 an hour, you might end up getting $7.10 an hour, $7.25 an hour because of that tax. And lastly, property tax is a tax on your home, on civic buildings, on parks, really anything that you might go into is a property tax. But this creates a threat to poor areas. According to Global Citizen Education, with the low-income families who have the highest needs, their resources are lower, they have less qualified teachers, and a substantial learning facility. So you have these areas that are not getting much tax, and because of this, their school systems are not getting as much funding. This also affects the attendance in your school systems as well. In your school system, if you have great teachers, great facilities, new books, 3 gymnasiums, like I previously said, the students are going to feel more fulfilled and they're going to want to come to school. But if you have students who aren't meeting these standards, who don't get that, who don't get the funding like that, then they might not want to come to school, and they might not have that same drive to come to school as well. So of course these statistics are very sad, but I know it's a lot of numbers that I've thrown at you. So I want to talk about how this affects you personally. Well, it actually affects you greatly. And guys, it's taking money out of your wallets as I speak. But how is that working? Well, I want to go through a little visual aid I've created for you. So, number 1, you have a student who doesn't graduate from high school. Again, they didn't go to a great school, they went to a poor school, didn't get the education that they deserved as a child, and they didn't graduate. That's number 1. Number 2, after that, is that the student might have a minimum wage job of $7.25 to $7.50 an hour, depending on where he lives. And because of this, even though he is getting paid $7.50 an hour, working 40 hours a week, he might still be on welfare. And welfare is the third point. But who pays for welfare? And that is us, which is the fourth point. So this is a continual cycle of poverty that is going on. So although I cannot assume that all of you guys care about a child's education, I can definitely assume that you care about money going back into your pockets. So before we end, I want to talk about a documentary that I watched that was very personal for me, called HBO's documentary Divided, which is highlighting the Chelsea Elliott Housing and the Avenues World School. The Avenues World School is a huge school in New York City which is privately owned and costs over $50,000 a year to go to. And right across from the World Schools is the Chelsea Elliott Housing, which is one of the poorest areas in New York City. Now, in this documentary, in the first 10 minutes, you meet a little girl named Rosie. Rosie is a Latino girl. She is about 5 or 6 years old, and she has a beautiful smile, and honestly, just in the documentary, I noticed that she truly had a heart of gold. In the documentary, Rosie talks about how she knows that she's poor. She knows that she won't ever reach up to the education that she could get if she went to the World's Avenue School, but that she still cares about her family, and she realizes that family is the most important thing.
So if you look out here, you can actually see the Statue of Liberty. So like right over there. And these are like the other rich buildings where other people live. My family is poor because we live in the projects. We don't live in like nowhere perfect. And my mom, she doesn't give me a lot of money, like probably $2, $3 to go to the store and stuff like that. I mean, my family is not like a perfect family, you know what I'm saying?
I can. I try being honest with you, and you say, "Oh, Daddy, buy me this, buy me this." I cannot because I don't have no money, Rosie. You understand what's going on?
I understand.
If I got the money, you think that I said no? You don't. No, if I got the money, I say I go with you.
I mean, I don't have what I want necessarily, but I do have like people that I love.
So I want to ask you all, what if Rosie had 3 gymnasiums and a performing arts center? What if Rosie had new books in her classroom? What if Rosie got to go to Washington, D.C. for her 8th grade trip? And what if Rosie had the same educational opportunity that I did? Thank you, guys.